Hey class! So here's a tutorial video on how to use Microsoft Excel in plotting your graph for the Arrhenius equation. So how do you determine the activation energy? Later on, you will also have a tutorial on how to use your scientific calculators in case you still don't know how to use them in performing linear regression. So let's start, and let's say I already have my temperature here in Kelvin and the rate constant. So you recall that we should plot the inverse of temperature in Kelvin on the x-axis and the ln of the rate constant on the y-axis. So um, Excel is very convenient. So because you can input formulas and it will automatically perform the computations for you. So I created a column for the inverse of temperature and a column for the natural logarithm of the rate constant. And just drag so that the formula is copied. And then go to, I think it's insert, charts, and go to scatter. So we will select the data that we want this graph to plot. So right click on the graph and select data. So let's remove these series, all of these series here, and place the specific series that we want to plot. So for the x values, you just click on this arrow and then select the values for the x-axis. And for the y-axis, click on here and select the values for the y-axis and click on OK. And now we have the plot. Remember, I told you that the line will have a negative slope. So you can edit your chart. You can go to Format here, Chart Design if you want to add your axis labels. So let's place here 1 over t and here ln k. Now it's becoming Japanese. Okay, let's add again. Okay. Then you can also change the font styles. I want Arial and increase the font size. Now, we want to perform linear regression. So I will select the data points, right click, and click on Add Trend Line. So this must be linear. And then display equation on chart. So click on this and display R squared value on chart. Okay, because we need the equation of the line. And why do we need the equation of the line? It's because we want to get the slope. Now I want to have some accuracy here. So I'm going to double click on this equation. And this one will appear on the right side. I'm going to choose number so that I can have some decimal places there. And now we have the slope. So again, your slope is equal to negative activation energy over R. So you can compute for the activation energy once you have the slope. So for this plot, we have negative 12,392.4170 as the slope. So use this value and compute for the activation energy. So class, this one is the tutorial using your scientific calculator. So I'm using a Casio FX991 ES Plus calculator. If you have another brand of calculator and you want to consult on how to perform linear regression using your calculator, you can just message me on Canvas and I will guide you on how to use it. So turn on your calculator and go to mode and you choose here stat. So because linear regression is actually a statistical method, and we will choose the two variable. So that's a plus bx. So a here is your y-intercept and b will be your slope. So don't be confused by that. So choose 2 and now you will see an xy table and this is where you will input your x and y values. Now you don't have to manually compute for the inverse of the temperature and the natural logarithm of the rate constant because you can do that directly into your calculator. So for the first data point, we have 1 divided by 298, 1 divided by 308, 1 divided by 318, 1 divided by 328, 1 divided by 338. Now let's go to the y column. Oops, I overpressed that. Okay. So we now get the natural logarithm of the corresponding k value. So that's ln 1.74 times 10 raised to negative 5, ln 6.61 times 10 raised to negative 5, ln 2.51 times 10 raised to negative 4, ln 7.59 times 10 raised to negative 4, ln 2.40 times 10 raised to negative 3. So we now have our values in the table. Now we need to clear the display. So just press on. So the values are still there. We just cleared the display. And now we will go to the stat here. If you see above number 1, there's stat. So shift stat and you will see number 5 regression. So choose 5 and now you have the parameters that you need. Again, A is the y-intercept, B is the slope, and R here is the correlation coefficient. So we will be needing the slope. I pressed on the wrong value. So let's go back to shift stat, regression. I need number 2. So there's the slope, negative 12,392.4170. So use this value to compute for the activation energy. Now, whenever you perform linear regression, you should always report the R-squared value because this tells you how linear your equation is. So the closer this value is to 1, it means the data gives you a very straight line.